Hey guys, it's me, it's Queen Offset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Alright guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to somebody else who may like it as well. Also, if you have time, hit us up in the comment section, okay? All right, guys, so today I'm going to talk to you guys about something that I see with a lot of Aquarius. Not all, because I know it's going to be a not me. Okay, not me. We see you. I get so annoyed with the not me's. I seriously do. And I'm not annoyed because their experience is different. I'm annoyed because we already know you exist. Every person who does astrology seriously knows that there are exceptions to the rule. So we don't need the constant bombardment of the not me's. You know, it's like we already know. And I say it every time I do a video. It's not everybody, but it's some. Not everybody, but it's common. So I'm probably going to have to say this for the rest of my life. I wish that people would just get that and I wouldn't have to say it anymore, okay? But maybe it'll happen in the future. So many Aquarius do this and it drives me crazy. So I wanted to talk to you guys about this because I have done this too, and it does put us in a bad space. What am I talking about? I'm talking about in relationships. A lot of Aquarius are empaths, or we have some kind of spiritual ability. It could be something as basic as having an intuitive sense. But what I've noticed with a lot of us is that because we have that energy, we have the tendency to attract people to us who need help. Sometimes I call them fixer-uppers. So they're people, if you date women or men, whatever the case is, they're people who got some issues, who have potential maybe, but they got problems, they're bipolar, or something else is going on with them. And a lot of times we attract these people and then we recognize the weaknesses in them. We recognize things that would help them. We recognize, okay, well, they need therapy in this area, or they need this in this area, or that in that area. And then what drives me crazy that I've done myself is we start to date some of these people. And I'm like, Aquarius, you cannot date your patient. Bottom line, if you meet somebody and you know that they have some issues and you're helping them address those issues, such as talking them through it or whatever the case is, you cannot, well, you can, but you should not start to be in a romantic relationship with this person. Why do I say that? Because if you're supposed to be helping them and you start to have a romantic relationship with them, it takes away from your ability to be able to help them. Think about it like this. Imagine that you were seeing a therapist and you started to date your therapist. What is going to happen with your therapy? Well, in a lot of cases, it's going to be hindered because now the dynamic of the relationship has changed. It's gone from a patient client to an intimate relationship. And any therapist worth their salt is not going to start a romantic relationship with one of their clients. And if they do start a relationship with them, they will usually refer them to someone else for treatment, because they know, like I know, that you can't be fucking your patient. Okay? So if you meet somebody and they're not your formal patient, but you know they need help and you're trying to help them, you're giving them self-help books, you're working through things with them, that relationship needs to stay platonic, at least while you're doing that with them. And I see a lot of Aquarius do this and then ask me why it didn't work. Well, it didn't work because, you know, you're dating somebody who's unhealthy, number one. And number two, somebody that you were trying to help get to healthy. So those two things can't coexist. If you're trying to help somebody, help them and keep your drawers on. You see? And if you want to be with them romantically, send them to someone else who can help them. Those two things can rarely hold the same space. Just ethically speaking, you can look at any therapy book, or any psychology book, and it will tell you you can't be having a romantic relationship with your client. And a lot of Aquarius would be like, well, Queen, that's not my client. That's somebody that I'm just friends with or I'm just talking to. Yeah, but don't cross that line. Hold that platonic line with that person as long as that's the role that you're playing in their life. You're playing their therapist, keep that distance. That's like me. When I'm reading for somebody or doing their cards or something like that and helping them through something, I'm not going to start being in a relationship with them. Now, I have people I've been in a relationship with and then did their cards, but I didn't meet them as a client. I didn't meet them under that energy. I met them under a romantic energy first. So my thing is that you have to be careful with that. And I see it with a lot of Aquarius. I see a lot of naturally empathic Aquarius draw a narcissistic or just a sick person to them. A bipolar person is a very common one. And then they go about the business of trying to help them. I've done this myself and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. Those two things, like I said, really rarely can hold the same space in a harmonious way because the dynamic has changed. They don't even address you the same or see you the same, After, when you're platonic with them and just helping them, there's a separation there. But when the intimacy starts, some of the times they begin to even resent you because it's like, you're seeing me. How are you going to tell me what to do? It's like your impact changes from the romantic relationship. So if you identify a person and you're trying to help them, leave it in that platonic space. Because I've done this many times and it doesn't work out. Usually what ends up happening is I end up leaving. And I end up leaving the situation, the friendship altogether, because I see that it's not effective. It's not helping them. They're starting to now fight me. The person who initially was helping them, now they're starting to fight me because now I've become a lover. So my vibrational energy with them has changed. Now they're questioning me. They're arguing with me. Whereas before, they were like, oh, okay, and just kind of figuring things out. Now it turns into, for some, more of a competition, and some just pretend. I had a Taurus that I used to be with. You guys know about her. She was my favorite, she was my favorite female. Out of all the women I've dated, she was my favorite. And we went through that dynamic. She was bipolar. And when I met her, I was like, oh, well, if she takes her medicine and if she gets treatment and, we can move forward. I can help her. I can be there for her. And I started trying to fulfill that role in her life. And it just didn't work to hold both spaces. So what ended up happening is she would pretend to listen to what I said. She would pretend to do what I said. She pretend, oh yeah, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm reading this, I'm getting help, I'm healing. That's why whenever somebody tells me they're healing, I always pause. Because it's like, are you really healing or are you just saying you're healing? Which is exactly what I got in that particular situation. She would just give lip service to, yeah, I'm healing, I'm doing the work, yeah. And the truth is that she wasn't doing any of it. She would just, or she would do it for a moment. Like she might go to a therapy session and then not go back. She'd read a little bit of a book and then find some reason why the book wasn't applicable to her. Like one time I gave her this book by Iyanla Vanzant. And the book was written for, I think it was written for women of color. It might have been written for Black women. I'm not sure. But the book itself, even though it was written for the audience of Black women, anybody, a man, a white man, anybody could read it and get something out of it, because it talked about spiritual principles, and we all could understand spiritual principles. But the audience for this particular book was Black women. She has ones for Black men. She has ones for anybody. She had different books that were geared towards different things. So I gave her this book, and of course, because it was for Black women and she was Puerto Rican, she can't read it because it's not for her. And I was like, first of all, you're Puerto Rican, so your ancestors are African. Let's just keep that real, you know? And second of all, I read the books for men and got a lot out of them. So you can't read a book for a book for a Black woman and get anything out of it. It's totally impossible. And I was like, no, you just don't want to do the work. Just say, I don't want to do the work. So, like I said, this was my fault. Because when I identified that she had these issues, I should have just been her friend. I could have offered helpful advice. I could have offered her literature. I could have offered her videos, and she would have received it better with me not being her lover. So I just wanted to put that out there because I know a lot of Aquarius who do this. A lot of Aquarius that I know always do this. I'm like, you would a fixer-upper again? That's what I call them, fixer-uppers. Because they get this person and be like, they will be perfect if. And then the Aquarius goes about the business of trying to make them their version of perfect. And the Aquarius could be right. This could be helpful to this person. But once you cross the line, your effectiveness goes down. And I've noticed this from, like I said, it happening to me time and time again. I can't tell y'all how many fixer-uppers I've had, to the point where I was like, you know what? If a person doesn't come to me together, I don't want them. That's where I've come to now. But I only came to that 3 or 4 years ago because I got tired of having these fixer-uppers and realizing that the shit doesn't work. It just doesn't work like that. I know that some people have had a fixer-upper and had success with it, but normally, most people I know, it doesn't work out. And it doesn't work out because the dynamic is all messed up. So if you are in that situation and you do want to be romantic with this person, I would say help them get to that space first and let the romance come much, much later. Okay? And for me, I'm just not doing any more fixer-uppers. I'm tired. I'm old now, y'all. I'm old and I'm tired, you know? And certain things that I've done repeatedly and didn't work, I'm not doing no more. Somebody once told me the definition of insanity is to do the same thing and expect a different result. How you gonna do the same thing over and over and over and over and over and expect the result to be different? It's not. So for me, because I've been through this so many times, I told myself, don't do that no more. If somebody wants to be in your life, if the next woman who wants to be in your life needs to be together. She needs to be together the way you're together, if y'all vibrating at the same level, and not somebody who you think, oh, I'll fix them up and they'll be perfect. That's not going to work. Not going to work for them, not going to work for you. So I've just come away from it. But as an Aquarius, if you find yourself in that space, try to remember that, because you're a lot more effective if you're just helping them and not banging out their back. Those two things don't hold the same space very well. So I would strongly suggest you do one or the other if that's what you want to do. Okay? So let me know in the comment section, have you ever dated a fixer-upper, and what happened? Did you guys end up together, or were you able to help them, or did it fall apart like it did with me and blow up in your face? What happened? All right, guys, it's time for me to get going. So if you would like a reading done, email me and I'll give you an appointment. And if you want to contact me, all my information will be underneath this video. Now remember, if you have to ask someone, you may as well ask an Aquarius. So come back soon because I have a lot more to say. See you later.